Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Tony from Freedom at the Crossroads, helping women everywhere look better, feel better without the pressure. Welcome to the show today. And for those of you who do not know me, welcome again. I am a women's fit lifestyle and holistic fitness coach for women. And I help to empower women to live their best lives, their healthiest lives, and to step up into their power, reclaim their space, own who they are, and live a life that is in harmony with who they truly are called to be. Yes, ladies, welcome. And for those men who are tuning in as well, welcome and thank you for the support. I'm going to start today's little chit chat off with a quote from Louise Hay from Empowering Women. She's also the author of You Can Heal Your Life. Very powerful speaker and author and coach as well. And I'm going to just step into it because this is so relevant to what I was talking about over the last few sessions where we are talking about being a domesticated woman, what that looks like, and what an undomesticated woman looks like. So starting off with the bat here, I'm going to go and quote Louise Hay in her wonderful, awesome work here. And she states, all women, including you and me, have been shamed and blamed since childhood. We have been programmed by our parents and by society to think and behave in a certain way, to be women with all the rules, regulations, and frustrations that comes with being a woman. Now, some of us are content to play that role, but most of us are not, end quote. And that's Louise Hay, for those of you who want to try out and have a look at that particular book of hers and read further for your own enlightenment and edification. But I'm just going to give a brief recap of last episode where we talked about some of the qualities of an undomesticated woman and just pointing out some of her characteristics. I know I left off on point number 10, but just a quick recap. 1, she's self-assured. 2, she is self-confident. 3, she loves herself. 4, she competes only with the best version of herself. She gives from her abundance, not from a place of lack. She has well-defined boundaries and enforces them. She is not perfect and embraces her imperfections. She is unique. She forgives herself. She forgives others. And that's where we left off on our previous episode, the Freedom at the Crossroads here and Goddess Thoughts, and what it means to be an undomesticated woman, because that's what we all should strive to be. Moving along, I'm going to move on to the next points here, where I also mentioned that a undomesticated woman strives to learn from her mistakes. She also does not relive the past. She knows the value of her time. She respects herself. She honors herself and the Creator. And yes, I wrote all this down because it's an ever-evolving list of qualities that, the more I travel and embark on my own particular journey, the more I embrace and learn and am opened up to new aspects of what it means to be truly an undomesticated woman who is free, who is strong in who she is, who is centered, and who is open to all that the universe and the Creator have for her. An undomesticated woman also feels and experiences no guilt when she gives space to her self-care. That's a biggie, ladies. That is a biggie. I used to be in a place where I felt guilty for taking time to, just simple things as just, doing a personal self-check to make sure I got enough rest, despite all the urgings of others. Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? And constantly fighting and battling internally with myself, trying to, give space to myself, but feeling guilty about, even wanting to say no to some of those things I said yes to. And so that is very important. Also, she is messy, real and unrestrained. What do I mean by messy? Not that she's a hot mess, not that she's sloppy, she's slovenly or anything like that, but she is messy in terms of she embraces and makes herself open to possibilities, new possibilities. Not that she jumps into things willy-nilly and without a thought, but that she's open to trying new things, experiencing life in its entirety. And that requires you to be free, to be messy, in quotes. Sometimes you have to let things flow and you have to write it out. And you, as a undomesticated woman, when I say undomesticated woman, I'm talking about a woman who is free, who is truly centered and self-confident and assured, who knows her worth and is open to the world and the universe. Because if you are going to receive, if you're going to receive all the gifts that are here for you, all the experiences, all the growth, all the power that is yours, you have to be open. And some of that requires being, quote unquote, messy. And another thing, another quality of the undomesticated woman, she faces her fears, acknowledges them, and moves past them. I remember a time when I used to be so caught up in fear over being rejected and things of that nature that I was just stuck in a rut of fear. I could not escape it. I was constantly thinking about it, constantly dwelling on it. And I found myself in a place where I was basically immobilized, paralyzed by fear. That's not where you want to be. Have you found yourself being in that position? I know a lot of times we struggle with something that we don't know the outcome, uncertainty, and then we get very fearful, and then we find ourselves unable to move past that fear to even take any kind of action one way or another. What about you? Is that your experience? Feel free to tune in and give a shout out and connect and let me know what's going on with you. An undomesticated woman, she is able to say no to the things and people that are not for her highest good. And that's harking back to some of the things I talked about in the earlier episodes where I was talking about validation and seeking validation and worth through, what you are able to give to people, what you are able to do for people, defining your worth and your value based on what you are able to give away of yourself. And an undomesticated woman recognizes this, that she can say no. It is her right to say no. Say no to those things that do not serve you. When you have something, when somebody asks you to do something or some opportunity presents itself and something in your very core being is crying out against it, listen to yourself. That is your core self telling you that there's something about this that is not for your higher good. Have you ever been in a situation where somebody asked you to do something and you weren't comfortable with doing it? I know that I've been in that position before where on the surface it seemed to be a very great opportunity. But for some reason, there was something inside of me that caused me to hesitate and pull back, almost cringing on the inside. And when I further looked at it, I said, there's something about this that is not good for me. But then I began to struggle with my response to that opportunity, whether, because I was thinking in my head, if I say no, this opportunity might not come again, or if I say no, this person will not like me, and things of that nature. And we do this when we are uncertain of ourselves, when we are not fully grounded in who we are. And that's a good indicator that there's work to be done on the inside. What about you? If this is something that resonates with you, by all means, take it deeper. An undomesticated woman is open to receive what God and the universe have in store for her. She has self-control, discipline over self. There's one thing that, I've learned over the course of my long life on this earth, and that is you cannot change anybody. The only one you can change, you can strive to change, is yourself. And part of that process requires discipline. In order to change yourself, in order to make yourself accountable to yourself and your core essence, you have to exercise self-discipline. If you have no discipline, if anything goes in your life, that's a problem. And that means that you are bound and restrained and constricted by whichever way the wind blows, i.e. society, i.e. what other people want you to do, and things of that nature. So an undomesticated woman has to have self-control. She does not seek the approval of others. She does not seek to control or manipulate others. Remember, if you yourself as an undomesticated woman, or a woman striving to be an undomesticated woman, don't want to be controlled, manipulated, or restrained by other people or roles and expectations, why would you want to do that to somebody else? That is a mark of somebody who is not developed spiritually, mentally, or emotionally. And so self-control is a journey, learning to control yourself, learning to develop yourself. That's something you develop over time. And there's some people that never develop self-control, impulse control. That's because they have not put any time into personal development, into growing themselves and learning who they are on the inside. They're so caught up in what's going on outside, the latest fashion, the latest, gossip, or the latest thing that somebody else is doing, or trying to compete with somebody else who they are not. Self-control. Another thing with an undomesticated woman, she accepts that people are fallible. There's no point in putting anybody on a pedestal or, putting somebody, basically making somebody a god or something a god in your life, because human beings are fallible. We fail. We fail ourselves. We fail others. And it's not necessarily by design or intent, but the nature of being a human being means that as we learn, we make mistakes. And sometimes in the process of making those mistakes and growing, we inadvertently hurt other people, disappoint other people, or fall short of other people's expectations. And when you allow yourself to be victimized by that, that is something that will basically retard your growth and keep you from evolving and growing yourself. So being able to recognize that people are fallible, people have, imperfections, allows you even to move through the whole process of forgiveness. And that was one of the other points I had mentioned earlier before in terms of being an undomesticated woman, is that you're able to forgive. Not necessarily that you forget, what people have done to you and things of that nature, but you're able to release the hurt, release that disappointment, and grow and learn something from that positively, and move on and grow yourself and release that. That's not the kind of baggage, that's not baggage, any kind of baggage you want to carry with you through your life as you move forward, because it has a tendency to twist and taint who you are and your perception of others and how you engage with other people. Now, I know it's been a lot to absorb, to take in, but I just wanted to hammer home for those of us who are struggling with personal development issues, struggling with guilt, struggling with shame, struggling with, feeling restrained and controlled and manipulated by other people. One of the ways to activate your own power, to free and release yourself from the entanglements and expectations of the world out there, of society and dominance, and in some instances abuse, is to recognize the things that are broken in you. We are all broken on some level, and part of the growth process, part of why we're even on this earth, is to grow and develop beyond that, and is to heal, in order to heal those areas so that we become stronger. For those of you who are familiar with a little bit of healthcare, when you break a bone, that part of the bone that was broken, once it heals, it becomes even stronger than it was initially. And a lot can be, I use this as an analogy for the growth process in those areas where we have been broken, where we have struggled. I know in a lot of instances, I could not have helped all the women that I've helped as clients, if I myself had not gone through some of the things that they are dealing with, and I've helped them to move through in their journey, and their healing journey of healing and getting fit and healthy and aligned and bringing their life into harmony and really reclaiming their power. And so for anyone out there who this resonates with, this is a new year. This is a time to grow. This is a time to heal. This is time to up-level your life, move forward, come in balance and alignment, reclaim your power, your essence, recognize your worth, your beauty, your uniqueness. That competition is the enemy of happiness. The only thing, if you could use competition in any context, it would be competition of what you know you are capable of doing, of what you recognize you're capable of doing. But you can only do this if you remove the blinders, if you free yourself and free your mind from the rubbish that has been programmed into you. We have been programmed by society, programmed by our cultures, programmed by our families, some of it deliberate, some of it inadvertent, some of it unconscious. But nonetheless, in order to move over, to grow, to shed off that weight, to step into your power, you must release all of that and become an undomesticated woman. So this is Tonya from Freedom at the Crossroads, helping women everywhere look better, feel better without the pressure, helping women strive to up-level their lives, their health, their fitness, alignment, and harmony, so that you can grow and bloom where you are planted. Thank you again for tuning in. Bye-bye till next time.